It might be 1992, but Kunio never stops. Everyone's favorite punk-turned-sports star is back at it with another track meet game. Bikkuri Nekketsu Shin Kiroku is a direct sequel to Downtown Nekketsu Shin Kyoku. And yes, that means that the US got the sequel, but not the first game. The first game had Kunio taking part in some brawling races with other high schools. You'd want to get to the end of the race fastest, but it was easier to beat people up. I actually had enormous trouble with that first game, unable to beat even the first race. I just couldn't get a handle on the flow of the action. Well, I also did spectacularly poorly at Bikkuri Nekketsu Shin Kiroku. Though at least here I could keep moving through the events, and I knew it was just a situation where I'd had to get used to playing it. The plot of the game has Kunio's rival Todo demanding a rematch, and getting his wealthy father to build an enormous stadium dedicated to it. Kunio's Nekketsu High is competing against 4 other schools, including Oklahoma High. And apparently Jimmy Lee goes to Oklahoma High School. So that's canon, the Double Dragon games take place in Oklahoma. There are 3 different game modes available to you. Normal mode, where you play through all 5 events. Short mode, where you play through 3 events. And practice mode, where you can just pick one event and repeat it over and over again. For normal and short modes, you have the opportunity to go shopping before you compete. You can buy medicine that will recover a character's health, or tools that affect the upcoming event. All of these items cost medals, and you start with 10 gold medals. A gold medal is worth 10 silver, and a silver medal is worth 10 bronze. You'll spot medals as you compete in events and can collect additional ones that way. Plus, winning events grants a lot more than just a single medal. When it's time to compete, you have to choose who will be playing, and characters are rated on physical strength, speed, and defense. They also have health, and that health doesn't recover between matches, only if you buy medicine. On the field, even though there are 5 teams competing, every match is one-on-one. The first event is the 400-meter hurdles. Well, that's the official title, but are they really hurdles if you're not jumping over most of them? You build up speed by tapping right, while B jumps and A attacks. A will also pick up pieces of the hurdles that have dropped. You can also hit down to slide under hurdles. If you fall behind because you've been hit or because you've run into hurdles, then you just lose some health and are thrown right back into the race. While it's tempting to just try to outrun your opponent, you really need to beat them up to have any chance of doing well in this one. I kept getting smacked down hard by the computer anytime I even started looking like I was going to do something to them. Hammer throw golf is more straightforward. You mash the B button to build up power, hit the A button to throw. You can aim by hitting up and down on the D-pad, but it doesn't show you where you're aiming. And if you spin for too long, you'll get dizzy and fall over. It's even worse if you happen to be standing in the rough or a sand trap. Whoever makes it through the 820-meter long course with the fewest number of throws wins. In the swimming battle royale, technically you're swimming to the end of the course, but really you're trying to drown your opponent. You can move freely in the water, and B will jump while A attacks. The top bar is your health, while the bottom bar is your breath, and what you want to do is attack them until they run out of breath, which quickly drains away their health. The high-rise long jump is a course that you really have to memorize. You're given poles that you can use to vault over some things, and unicycles that can balance their way across wires, and your goal is to make it the furthest in the course. You can fall 3 times before you're out. You pick up or drop an item by hitting A, and for the pole vault, you plant it by hitting B. So vaulting is done by tapping B, and then tapping A when you're at the correct angle. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Finally, there's the judo match, where you just have to beat your opponent unconscious. Yes, that's not how real judo works, but that's how it works in Kunio's world. B punches and A kicks in this case, and when you grapple, you'll need to mash to reduce your opponent's strength. Then you have the opportunity to pick out a special move that you'll perform on them. With that event done, you then get to see who's won the most medals, and thus the game. One problem I have with Bikkuri Nekketsu Shin Kiroku is that they make you watch all of the events. Generally speaking, it's going to take 3 rounds to find a winner out of the 5 teams. And even if you get knocked out, they make you watch the rest of the matches. There's also some basic techniques that can really get you an advantage. For example, in swimming, staying on top of the water and dragging the match out will make it pretty easy to defeat your opponent, especially if you use the item that regularly drains their health. And on the golf, you get 10 gold medals if you win the event, or you could just start throwing the hammer straight up and collect 50 medals over the entire course. And if you're playing with multiple people, whoever wins the first event can just keep buying things that make everyone else's life a lot more difficult, which makes it easier for them to keep winning. From what I saw of Japanese opinions on the game, this is considered to be the weaker of the 2 sports meet games. And while I had more fun with this one, I kind of understand that attitude. I feel like once you've got the basics down here, there's not much more to the games beyond that. While the first game is more of a party for everyone beating on each other. Bikkuri Nekketsu Shin Kiroku isn't a bad game at all, though as a minigame collection, it is a bit of a mixed bag. There are some of those events that I think are more interesting than others. It's a lot of fun, but I think it would work best with 4 players rather than watching the computer beat you constantly.